y'all. Welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. I am one of your hosts, Jason, owner of Outdoor Legacy Gear, and this is episode 6 of the Late Night Vision Show podcast. I can't believe we've already got 5 episodes in the can. I've got my buddy and co-host Hans from the HansETX YouTube channel with me tonight. How are you, Hans?
Hey, Jason, and I'm doing well, and welcome back to everybody. I want to say I'm on the road right now, so I'm having to do this in the hotel room, so I kind of had to scramble and get everything prepared. But I tell you, it's a pleasure to be back again, episode 6, like you said, and man, we've had some great topics, and I'm excited about the topic tonight as well. Really, I wanted to start off by saying, and to inform everybody, let everybody know that you can now watch the podcast on the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So all you have to do is go to the Late Night Vision Show. When you search it, please subscribe, because you can actually watch the podcast there. You can actually see me and Jason's mugs right there on the video.
I don't know who would want to do this voluntarily, but anyway.
But you can go to the YouTube and search for the Late Night Vision Show, and you'll be able to find us there. So please take a time after you hear this to hop on over there and do that. But you know what, Jason? I was checking out Instagram. You know, I always go through. I like to look at all the hog pictures, and I saw a monster hog tied to a tractor with you standing next to it. Now, who did you pay to let you stand next to a big hog like that?
Well, you know what? It's been so long since I've seen a hog out on my place that I really thought that I had done such a good job. I was never going to see hogs again. I thought I'd killed them all. Yeah. And no, I tell you what, it was really perfect timing. I really haven't seen a hog in a good while, several weeks on my place, which is very, very rare. It's probably the longest I've gone without hogs rooting up my pasture in several years. But I knew they weren't gone. I just knew they had, disappeared. It's been dry. They probably found some wet spots in the creek. But the other night I was out there. It hasn't deterred me. Every single night I'm out there scanning the pasture and looking, and I saw what I thought was one of my cows down there, and something didn't look right. It was off by itself, and I said, "There's no way that's a hog. It's just way too big." And the way it had its head down, and I kind of started moving around, I could tell that's definitely a hog, but there's no way as big as that. It's a hog. So it was really perfect timing, because right now I've got the Pulsar Trail XP50 LRF, the laser rangefinder version, and that's on loan from Pulsar. It's a demo unit, and I was fixing to do a video review, which I actually did today, and going to be putting out on YouTube soon. Hopefully it'll be out by the time this podcast airs, but I really wanted to kill a big hog with it. And man, when I saw that hog, I ran to the gun safe and grabbed my rifle and grabbed all my gear and took off down there. And he was about 350 yards when I first spotted him. And I got down there and got up to about 47 yards away according to the LRF, and dropped him. And I tell you what, I knew he was big. I didn't know how big, but when I got down there and got to him, I could just tell he was just a monster. And so I grabbed some gloves, and he stunk to high heaven. And I grabbed those hind legs. He kind of rolled down in a small creek. He wasn't in the water, but just rolled down the bank. And I grabbed him, and I couldn't budge him. So I went walked all the way back to the barn. I got on the tractor, came back down there, got the scales, and he weighed 275 pounds on the nose.
It's a big hog.
So that's a big hog.
Well,
I just gonna say, I don't even know how he got underneath my barbed wire fence. I mean, he was so tall. I was like, golly, but those hogs find a way to do it.
I remember you and I spoke that night, and you said you had gotten a nice steady rain that day. You hadn't had rain in a long time, and you said you got about an inch, a little over an inch of rain. And I remember saying, I'm like, man, there's a good chance you're going to see a hog tonight. Just because of the rain that come in, and it cooled down a little bit. So yeah, I saw the pictures on Instagram. That was pretty awesome to see, and I know you ran a little giveaway contest for somebody that guessed the weight, and somebody guessed it right on the nose, didn't they?
They did. They absolutely guessed it right on one of the first guesses, and he got it really quick. And I had somebody suggest that maybe we ought to start doing that on the late night vision show. We ought to find a way to incorporate that sometime. So we may work on that for a future episode.
Well, I do know that coming up soon, Jason and I have talked about doing some giveaways. So stay tuned for stuff like that because we're going to be giving away some stuff here in the future. We've been coming up with ideas and putting together different things that we want to give away. So we're definitely going to do a giveaway coming up soon. But this episode 6, we're going to be talking about and one of the biggest requests that I get through a lot of the videos on YouTube, whether it be on social media, is they say, Hans, I love the scope that you're reviewing, but it's a little bit out of my price range. I'm looking for an entry-level thermal scope. It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles on it, but I want it to be a good scope that it's going to be my beginner thermal. And so today we are going to be taking a look at, reviewing, and really diving in deep on the Pulsar Core RXQ30V. And it's a scope that I've had for the last few weeks that I've been testing out. Jason, I know that you've used it a lot in the past, but it's one that I think is going to get a lot of interest from people out there, like I just mentioned, that are wanting to get into thermal hunting for the first time, and they don't want to spend $5,000 to do it.
No, absolutely. The RXQ30V is one of the least expensive thermal rifle scopes on the market, and for the quality, it is the best quality for the best price, for these entry-level scopes. And it's been extremely popular since Pulsar released it last year, and it still is today. It's going strong, and it is an excellent scope. So I do want to go over a few of those specs. Just like the rest of the Pulsars, the thermals in the current lineup, it's got a 384 by 288 thermal sensor in it. It's got the AMOLED display. So that's one thing we need to bring up how big of a deal that is. In the 2016 and previous thermals that Pulsar had, an OLED display was a $1,000 upgrade on any of their thermals.
Wow.
And this scope is right now it's $1,899 and it's got an AMOLED in it. So anyway, that's just a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's got the OLED display. It's 50 hertz refresh rate like all the other Pulsar thermals are. It's the 17 microns, so it's got a good image, and it's got a 985 yard detection range of a human-sized target, and it's a 1.6 optical magnification, and it does have digital zoom up to 6.4 power. And I tell you, it's just a really, really nice scope. One thing there's a couple things I do want to bring up about it that are pros and cons here, real quick on the features. It is a fixed focus. So this scope, unlike the other Pulsars, does not have a adjustable focus. And so what that basically means, what that spells out to you, is that everything's not going to be blurry. Right. It's just that you're never going to get that super sharp, crisp, clear image that you can get with an adjustable focus scope. And so it's just something to know. You're not going to be able to dial that in like you would some of the higher end scopes. But still, I mean, for the money, you can't complain about it. Another nice thing that it does have, it takes two CR123As, but it comes with an adapter. You actually pull the CR123A batteries out, plug this adapter in, and at that point you can use any USB battery pack. Plugs right in the bottom of it. Pulsar provides the cable that you need, and you just plug the other end, like I said, into any USB battery pack, and you are good to go. So that's a nice feature that they've added onto it. The only other thing that is kind of a negative is that there is no way to get video out of the unit. There's no internal video recording, there's no video out, nothing. So anytime you ever see any videos out on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere on this scope, just know that they do not do the scope justice because someone has held their cell phone up behind the eyepiece and recorded. That is the only way to get video out of it.
Right, and going back to, and that's a good point, Jason, and going back to the focus part of it, explain to people a little bit, because I get a lot of people that ask about the difference between the objective focus and the eyepiece diopter focus.
Yeah,
So
that's actually a really good question. I get that from time to time too. So the rear eyepiece has a focus on it, and that is just for everybody's eyes are different. You know, you can see 20/20, and somebody sees something else. Somebody's got eyeglasses, somebody doesn't. So you're using that rear diopter focus to focus the OLED display to your eye. You are not focusing the lens in the scope. You're just focusing the display.
right.
And so once you get that, and so the way that works is I could get it focused to my eyes. It's crystal clear. I can hand it to you, and you go, man, it's all blurry. Well,
Right.
you've got to adjust that focus. So that's what the rear diopter eyepiece focus is. The objective focus is what's out on the front of the lens, where you actually twist until you get the lenses in focus. Now, again, people get worried. They go, I guess it means that everything's blurry. The scope is just focused to infinity.
Right.
So it is focused. It's just you can't make those fine tuning adjustments like you would be able to on some of the other thermal scopes.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It is focused. Don't be concerned out there that you're going to get it. It's not going to be clear. But like Jason said, it's not going to have that super crisp image. But I'm going to go into. I just released a video on YouTube on the HansETX YouTube channel of the full review of the Pulsar Core RXQ30V. Like I said, I've had it for a few weeks now. I'm going to tell you, Jason, when you first sent it to me, I had not used it at all. You know, I went right in. I went from a very low level Armasight Predator and jumped right over to the Pulsar XQ38 Trail. So, and now I'm in the XP50. But when you sent this to me, you said, "Hey, I want to let you know that the screen, it has a green tint to it." And when you first said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get used to something like that. You know, I'm so used to seeing just a normal, the gray or the white thermal screen.
Right.
So got it out of the box. Yeah. First of all, and I'm just gonna run through what I like and what what I didn't like about the scope. And I'm gonna tell you, from the time that I put it on the rifle, it's got the one-shot zeroing. Which I was able to sight the thing in, I think, in a few shots, and it was really on a windy day. I just wanted to make sure it was. I tell you, I hate sighting in rifles. Jason, you and I have talked about this forever. I'm so OCD about it. I don't like going to the ranges. I don't like target shooting that much. I like to fire my rifle when there's a hog or a coyote at the other end of it, not so much a wooden target. I just don't enjoy it that much. But so when I go to the range, I want to be able to sight that thing in right away, and I want to leave, because I can tell you, my wife, before I even get there, she's calling and wanting to know when I'm going to be home. So I try to do as quick as possible. That Pulsar Core, I was able to sight it in real quick and easy. I love the one-shot zeroing. It's a standard feature, I think, on all the Pulsars that I've used so far.
Yes.
And it's a great tool. I really like that about it. But I'm going to tell you, I got it out the first night, and got to look at that green tinted screen. And I'm going to tell you, at first you're like, wow, this is a lot different. But I actually really like the green tinted thermal screen. And I said this in the video. It really, to me, it was very soft on the eye. You get a lot of, when you're looking through it, I hunt a lot. I mean, I'm looking through a thermal scope many times every night. On the weekends, I'm looking even more through a thermal scope, and it's pretty difficult on your eye. It gives you a lot of eye strain at times. Sometimes you've been looking through a scope so long that your eye actually hurts. I don't know if you ever had your eye being sore.
Oh yeah.
But it seemed to me like it wasn't as harsh on the eye as some thermal scopes are. So I actually really like the green tinted screen. Another thing I liked, the image on it was very good. I was impressed with the clarity and the image of the scope. I was able to detect. I looked at deer from anywhere from 50 yards out to a couple hundred yards, and I could tell at 200 yards that was a deer, no problem at all. So that's my range when I'm testing out a scope, a thermal scope. really, if I can detect anything under 200 yards, I'm happy. If I can tell what it is under that range, I'm very happy because all of my hunting is done under 200 yards. And I think a lot of people out there that hog hunt the same way. Coyote hunters, it's a little bit different. You're looking a little bit further out. But with what I was able to detect, I was very happy with the range on it. I was very happy with the picture clarity on it. Like you said, it doesn't have the objective focus on it, but I didn't find that to be a problem at all. And in the back of my mind, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to be objective about this scope. I need to find out what I don't like about it and what I do like about it. And it really brings me to the thing that I like most about it, and that's the price.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about to be able to get into thermal hunting for $18.99, which is much cheaper than the scope that I bought several years ago, which was considered an entry level scope. It's much cheaper than that, and the quality is much, much better. So to think, the biggest thing that I like about the scope, along with the fact that it's got good clarity, good picture, is the price.
Sure.
$18.99, and that's what I'm always going to come back to. Being able to, like I said in the beginning, there are a lot of people out there that are looking to get into thermal hunting for the first time. They don't want all the bells and whistles, but they want a good scope. I get a lot of people that say, you know what, I really don't care about recording video. I just want to. I had a guy today. He commented and said, "I love." He commented to my review video. He said, "Man, I love. Thank you for the review video. I just bought one. I love it." And the thing I don't care about taking pictures of hogs or video on hogs. I just want to stack up a whole big old pile of hogs. That's all he cared about,
Sure.
And this is a great scope to do it. If you want a backup scope, if you've got buddies that come out and hunt with you all the time, like I do, if you just want another scope to slap on a rifle to grab quick out of something like that, this is a great scope for you to have. So really, as far as the likes, that's what I like. I like the price. I like the picture image. It's easy to use. It's easy setup. Those are just the types of things that are just when you are looking for a scope that you want to have something like that dependable. And Pulsar to me is one of the most dependable brands, probably the most dependable brands that I'm exposed to and that I use. Now, as far as the dislikes, I'm going to tell you there's not a lot that I disliked about the scope because again, I'm coming back to the fact of this is an $18.99 scope, and and for the
Very
price,
fun.
yeah, for the price, you're not going to expect to get all of the things, but I love to record video. It doesn't have the video internal recorder. It doesn't even have a USB port to hook up an MDVR. So
Mm-hmm.
if that is one of your must-have items, this is not going to be the scope for you. If you say it's got to be able to take video because I'm doing whatever with it, I want to prove to buddies that I shot a hog. This is you're going to want to look at some other options. The battery situation, I love the fact that there's. I'm so used now to just the rechargeable battery packs. I love them. It's convenient for me. It does run off two CR123A batteries. That's to me, I hate switching out the batteries, but like you said, you do have the option for another battery pack to be able to use if you choose to do so. So there is an option there. You're not completely left alone without something an alternative. Other than that, and I missed over one thing. One of the things I do like about it was the twist open cap, and I missed that because I do want to mention that. I do like the twist open cap on the end. It doesn't have the flip open pop because I bang that around a lot. It's just twists open, and you'll see in the videos if you check them out that it does have that, and I do like that. But as far as the dislikes, again, it's the dislikes that I have about it are things that you would expect to get with a higher price scope. But again,
Sure.
$18.99, great entry level scope, great picture, and I think anybody that's looking for a beginner scope would be very happy with something like this.
I agree, Hans. I mean, I really, you know, I don't have much else to say because you just summed it all up. I agree. I've killed a lot of hogs with a core. I've been hunting with it since they were first released. I killed a lot of hogs early on with it, and then I've used them off and on since then. I'll have a unit come through that I'll just decide to go demo one, and I'll run out and use it, and I've been really, really happy with it. And there's a lot there for a sub $2,000 scope. And the one thing I want to let people know is there's a misconception that, oh, this is just junk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. This is a legitimate scope, and if this thing had come out 3 years ago, it had just been, a really good. It'd have been a mid-level scope,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
now it's considered entry level just because the quality has gone up so much, on the mid-range and the high range. So again, nothing wrong with it, and I guess really what I consider it a workhorse.
Right.
If you're looking for a Zeiss, a Swarovski, if you're looking for some, a high-end scope, I was comparing this to daytime optics, this isn't it.
Right.
This is a Nikon. It's a Burris. It's just and that's not a knock on those scopes. They make some really nice scopes too. I'm just making the point that it's going to hold up. It's going to go do what you want it to do. And yeah, you're not going to record video doing it. And yes, you're not going to be able to focus the objective and get this beautiful crystal clear image. But is it really going to help you kill more hogs? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, anything shooting hogs under 100, 150 yards, I don't see any issue at all. Like I said, I've killed a lot of hogs with it. And, they're just as dead today as they would have been if I'd have shot them with an XP50
Exactly right.
or anything else.
Yeah.
So, really, I think it's a great scope for what it is. One more thing that I want to throw out, I was asked this question today, is what the recoil rating is for the scope.
Mm-hmm.
And it is rated up to and including a 375 H&H.
Right.
So that's a big rifle,
Right.
and you should be good to go for most anything you want to put it on. But overall, I think Hans summed it up well. If you don't care about video recording and you're on a budget, this is a great scope to get. It is small.
Mm-hmm.
It is, it fits in your hand well. A lot of guys like to, I think you mentioned, use it as a buddy scope. If they've got nicer scopes and they've got some money and they, just want to take a buddy hunting or a wife or a kid and let them use this. So a lot of times they'll actually take the scope off when they're not using it and use it as a handheld because it is about the same size as some of the Pulsar handhelds, and it's within a couple $100 of similar handheld binoculars. So anyway, it is a very, very good optic. Now, one thing that I get asked over and over and over is, how does this optic compare to the FLIR Thermosight Pro PTS233 that is $21.99? And that is an excellent question, and I'm going to answer it for you, but just not on this podcast.
You're man, teasing it.
Yeah, I'm going to tease
it.
Well, what we want to do, Hans and I have talked about this. We definitely want to dig into that because we both have a lot of experience with the PTS233 as well. Mm-hmm. But we want to wait until we've already done the review of the 233, on the podcast. So in a few weeks we'll do that, and then we will definitely get to the direct head-to-head comparison between the 233 and the RXQ, because they are direct competitors. Right. They're extremely similar, not just in price, but in functionality and features, quality. So anyway, that'll be something we can talk about. In the meantime, if you are interested in either one of those scopes and you say, I really want to buy one and I don't want to wait 6 weeks for y'all to do the review, feel free to call me and I'll be glad to answer those questions for you. In all seriousness, answer any questions you've got. And as always, anything you need, you can find me at outdoorlegacygear.com, and you can call me. The number's 877-350-1818. Also on YouTube. Please go subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting close. We're I don't know what it's at now. It's over 800. So I'd like to get that done. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. And we just appreciate your support. And we really appreciate all the support that y'all have given us on the podcast. And Hans and I always say it, and we're going to say it again. We want your feedback. Feel free to send us an email at thelatenightvision@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment on any of the social media channels. But so before I kick it back to Hans, I just want to say again, thanks for listening, and I hope you found this review helpful. Again, we tried to dig in of who it is good and maybe not good for. But seriously, if you have any questions, just hit either one of us up, and we'll be glad to help.
Absolutely, and I'm going to tell you, and I'll sum up the review like this. Like Jason said, the Pulsar Core RXQ30V will kill a hog dead just as good as any other scope. So, like you said, if you have a question about it, contact Jason or I. You can contact me. I have my YouTube channel, which is HansETX. I just crossed over 2,000 subscribers on the video. I started it 11 months ago, and I've already got 2,000 subscribers. And I'm going to tell you, it's the feedback that I get from the videos. It's overwhelming, and people asking questions about the scopes all the time. I always reply to every comment that I get, any question that I get. If I don't know the answer, I know I can always get to Jason. He can find out the answer. But you can find me through YouTube, Instagram. It's the same. At HansETX. And again, please go and follow us. Follow the Late Night Vision Show on Instagram and YouTube. And we appreciate it. Like Jason said, we appreciate everything you do. You're tuning in, you're watching on YouTube, and we appreciate it. So for Jason, I'm going to say thank you. And, we will check you next week. We're going to be doing some more reviews. We've got we're planning out some guests here in the future. But stay tuned. Next week, we'll be coming back at you with another episode. And y'all take care. See you next week.